Welcome back to Ironsworn, Rime of the Frostmaiden. This is episode 15. Last episode, Karl and Haf had escorted people from the dwarven fortress to Caer-Konig, tried to fulfill his vow, it didn't roll very well, and now there are these refugees, basically. He may come back and help them eventually, but at least right now he has other priorities that he's going to focus on. He also fulfilled his vow to bring the valuables back to the town. Also got a weak hit on that, so they asked something more for him, which is to go back to that dwarven fortress and make sure that it's actually cleared out of monsters or bad guys or anything that might cause a problem for the town. So that's what he's up to. He also talked to Garrett, the mountaineer, formed a bond with him. Garrett asked to traverse the Dale with Karl and Haf when they go back to Tourmaline. So Karl is going to go back to the dwarven fortress. So he and Haf head back across the tundra towards Kelvin's Cairn. They've managed to rest up and heal up quite a bit, which is fantastic. So this is going to be an undertake a journey. On a strong hit, they managed to get to the dwarven fortress without any difficulty. Karl and Haf are, I think they're going to try to sneak up again. This is going to be a face danger with Shadow. They get a weak hit, so manage to succeed. I think we're going to take some stress with this. Endure stress and get a little bit of momentum from that. They're slowly creeping up towards this fortress. They don't really know if anyone's still here. They get up to the doors. I think they probably closed the doors when they left, just, for completeness. So they're going to lean on the doors. They're quite heavy. They open the doors up to a main hall. The bodies are not there. It looks like someone has dragged the dwarven bodies and the ogre zombie elsewhere. So there's still bloodstains and still clearly a mess here. The two goats are still in their cage. That implies that somebody is still here. So I think Karl and Haf are going to quietly creep around. I think Karl, actually, knowing that there are some dwarves here, he is going to take out one of his arrows. He saw that the dwarves were pretty heavily armored. He's going to modify one of his arrows to be like an armor-piercing arrow that will be more effective against these heavily armored dwarves. This is from his Fletcher asset. So on a weak hit, he gets to choose one. I think he's going to choose Ravager, which adds 1d6 harm if he uses it against one of these Duergar. So he's got this arrow ready, because he's a little suspicious now that there might be some more of these Duergar here. I forgot he also got some momentum from the strong hit from his Wayfinder. They've already explored to the east, although there was a tunnel which they didn't fully explore. So they're going to go east because that's familiar to them. And they get back to the armory and then go under this underground tunnel. That takes them to this bunker, which they saw from the outside, getting into the bunker, looking around. They don't find anyone in here right now, which is good. So there's only one way to go, and that's the door to the south of the main hall. This chamber appears to be a cell block lined with stone doors that have small, barred windows set into them at dwarf's eye height. Snow and wind enter the room through a barred window in the northeast corner that looks out towards the snow-covered bunker that guards the main entrance. So another one of these, kind of vantage point sorts of things. It looks like this might be some kind of cell prison sort of thing. Not quite sure why they would need that. So as Karl and Haf enter the room, some of these stone doors swing open and these people emerge. They're kind of making these like shuffling sorts of steps, and they've got like this fungus growing on them and mold covering them. They do not look well, probably not alive, and they're going to go and attack Karl and Haf. I think we're going to run this as a battle, because there's a bunch of these guys, but they're pretty weak. Okay, on a miss, you are defeated and the objective is lost to you. Well, the objective was to try to secure this complex. So I think that there's so many of these fungus-covered guys. They drive Karl and Haf out. Karl and Haf leave the outpost, take some damage for sure. So they get driven out. They fully get expelled from this fortress. So I think that they're going to go out back on the tundra, and they're going to have to come up with a better plan. Karl and Haf kind of huddle down and strategize. They're like, okay, those fungus things, like every time we hit them, spores puffed up and we were coughing and we just couldn't deal with it. So what if we took some bandanas and sort of soaked them and then covered our face with those? Maybe that would help when we're fighting them next time. So this is going to be to secure an advantage. This is a strategy thing, so this is definitely going to be with wits. All right, they're going to take a little bit of momentum with that. We have explored the stronghold some more. We explored the bunker. We found that little prison area. So we're going to mark our vow on that. Now, covered with our scarves, we're going to head back in and see if we can beat off these spore guys. Now we know a little bit more about them. I'm going to run this like a battle again. That is a strong hit. We achieve our objective unconditionally. Karl and Haf hack away. Karl's chopping off limbs with his axe. Haf is stabbing with his spear. These fungal guys, little bursts of spores pop up, but that doesn't bother them anymore. They're able to drive them down and get past that objective. So they're going to mark progress there. They're going to get some momentum from that. Now they do open all of the cell doors just to see if there's anything. They do find a body of what looks like a nomad here who's just in the early stages of being infected by these spores. Let's ask the Oracle if he's still alive. Let's say 50-50. Is this nomad alive? No. Okay. The infection has progressed too far. I think that Karl is going to put him out of his misery so that he doesn't become one of these spore monsters. There's a set of stairs up, so they ascend and come into a little entry hall. Small rooms flank a central common area where crates and sacks are stashed against the west wall. The doors of the two southern rooms are open, and each room is empty except for a tattered bedroll and a chair. From behind the closed doors of the northern rooms, you hear the faint sounds of activity. Bedrooms, it looks like. The ones to the south are open. Karl and Haf are pretty sure that there's some folks still here. We're going to mark progress on exploring the stronghold because these are the last places to look. They did pretty well with kick the door in and shoot the arrow before, so I think that we're going to try that once again. For the enter the fray, I think this is going to be Shadow because we're trying to do this relatively stealthily, at least before we kick the door in. Hey, a strong hit. Gain +2 momentum and you have initiative. Haf kicks the door in. Karl sights down on one of these Dorgar, clearly surprised, lets his arrow loose. That is a strong hit. Fantastic. That's going to inflict +1 harm. I think we're going to have these Dorgar be dangerous because there is more than one of them. But that allows us to inflict some harm, and then we get our additional harm from his special arrow. That is going to be, ooh, that's brutal. 5 more harm. So yeah, these Dorgar are heavily injured. I think that one is fully dead, and the door next to it opens. This Dorgar rushes out with his axe and is going to try to engage with Karl and Haf here. Ooh, that's a miss with a match, but you know what? I've got momentum, so I'm going to burn it, which is going to turn this into a strong hit, and I'm going to end the fight, which is also a strong hit. So this dwarf bursts out of his bedroom. Karl and Haf turn, meet him, hack away, kill him pretty quickly. The dwarves who were left here are no more. So we're going to mark progress on that quest. To explore the stronghold, they're going to look at the bedrooms. It looks like there's a bunch of useful gear here, which is handy. So we don't really need to resupply too much. I'm going to resupply. You know, take the opportunities when you can. Unless you get a miss, pay the price. Well, I think that as Karl and Haf are kind of trying to find something useful, they hear something echoing further in the halls of this stronghold, and Karl gets a little bit freaked out, and he's going to take a hit to his spirit. But he manages to soldier on. They have investigated this. They drag these 2 dwarf bodies out. Now it's basically secure. I think they're going to, again, close up the doors as they leave and head back to Caer-Konig and report on their success. We will have to undertake a journey as we go back because the Icewind Dale during the Rime of the Frostmaiden is a dangerous place. A miss and a match. So I think this is going to be 2 bad things. I think this is going to be a blizzard. And while the blizzard is happening, remember those crag cats that we scared off on Caer-Konig? We didn't actually kill them. We just injured them and they ran off. I think that they are going to follow Karl and Haf. And as this blizzard hits, they are going to move in. So first, we're going to deal with the blizzard a little bit. We're going to face danger. I think that we're going to try to tough this out. So that's going to be with heart. On a weak hit, all right, we have some troublesome costs. I think we lose some supplies in this blizzard as we're trying to hunker down and wait it out. And in the middle of the blizzard, these crag cats attack. These crag cats have crept through the blizzard and pounce on Karl and Haf. It's just the two of them out here. They are totally unprepared for this, so let's enter the fray with an ambush. On a strong hit, that's great. We'll take the momentum, and we have initiative. Even though they were surprised, I think that maybe they heard a little change in the wind or something that gave them just a little bit of warning, so they're able to leap out. Karl guts his axe and tries to hit one of the crag cats, manages to nick it. This is going to be a formidable foe since there are two of them. On a weak hit, on a strike, he manages to clip the axe across the face of one of these cats. It kind of snarls and turns towards him. He's a little bit rocked back on his heels, so he's lost initiative, but he did some damage to it. They're going to come up and they're going to try to scratch on him. This is going to be a clash. With a strong hit, we get initiative back. We also inflict our harm. I'm going to go ahead and inflict an additional harm with that strong hit. And even though they're rocked back a little bit, Karl and Haf come back together. Karl's fighting one of these cats off. Haf has got his spear in the jaws of one of the cats and is kind of trying to keep it off of him while Karl's hacking away, trying to do his best. On a strike, on a weak hit, we cause some damage. We don't get hurt ourselves, but we lose the initiative. And then the crag cats come back. They're scratching, biting at us, trying to kill us so that they can eat us. On a weak hit, on a clash, we do manage to cause some harm, but one of the cats scratches Karl. We're formidable foes, so it causes 3 wounds, and he misses, so he loses some momentum. They're rocked back. They don't have the initiative. We've got to try to end this fight as soon as possible. And on a strong hit on the clash, that's going to do it. We'll get some momentum, and we are going to end the fight. On a weak hit, we succeed. We managed to kill the crag cats, but while we were fighting, the wind tore all of our gear away. So we are going to lose some gear here. And now we're in the middle of a blizzard. We've got to try to hunker down. This is going to be a face danger. And on a miss, I think that the thing that makes the most sense is they're suffering some cold, suffering some hypothermia, just feeling weak all around. And a miss on endure harm. We take a hit to our momentum. They're not doing so great. They've got to try to get back to Caer-Konig at this point. It's almost complete madness to walk through the blizzard, but that's really their best option at this point. So we're going to try to undertake a journey and make our way back to Caer-Konig through this blizzard. That's a weak hit, which means that they'll get back to Caer-Konig. I think this is going to be stressful. Take a hit to spirit. Karl and Haf manage to press on and stumble into town, injured, weary, most of their gear gone. They're at least going to find Trovus and report about the stronghold and fulfill that vow. That gives us a strong hit on fulfilling our vow, so we will mark the experience. And I think that the town is favorably disposed towards us. We're going to try to make a bond with them. And since we just fulfilled a vow, we can re-roll any dice. That's great. With Haf's help, he gets a terrible roll, and the challenge dice are awfully high. I think I'm going to try to re-roll one of these challenge dice, but the odds are pretty poor. On a miss, they reject you. Pay the price. It's stressful. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that Karl, went and helped these people, did the best that he could, but nonetheless, I guess they're appreciative, but they're pretty insular. I think that they're not going to fully welcome him. Karl is going to spend some time chatting with Garrett, the mountaineer, just get more information from him, see how he's doing. Is he recovered from all of his trials? And he's going to try to forge a bond with Garrett here. Haf's being his chatty, happy self, but we get another 0-0, a miss, and a match. The worst possible roll, trying to forge a bond with Garrett. I think the obvious thing is that he rejects them. Garrett fully rejects Karl, doesn't really want to talk to him. I think he's pretty pissed about the whole situation. I think he's maybe resentful towards Karl for helping the climbers that he wasn't able to help. So Garrett's having nothing to do with them, which is unfortunate. I was really hoping that in the future I could get Garrett as a companion along with Haf, but that's not going to happen now. Karl and Haf don't have a bond here. They did fulfill their vow. They're going to try to sojourn because they've got to rest up before they escort Tessa back home to Lonelywood. All right, on a strong hit on sojourn, like I said, I'm going to let that roll ride. So we're going to heal up. We're going to be able to resupply and get ready to get on the road. Even though the residents of Caer-Konig don't want to form a bond with Karl, I think that they are basically grateful and appreciative. And so outfit him, let him rest up, and get well for this journey. Karl and Haf and Tessa head out across the tundra. They're going to stop by the Dwarven Valley, then on to Tourmaline, and hopefully Lonelywood, where they can get Tessa home safe before Karl's got to turn right around and see if his sister Bridget is in East Haven. Thanks for watching.